Is there a lot of properties to flip, or is it mostly new builds? Just
Well,
like,
I would say like the new builds I think have slowed down a little bit. I mean, there are a few towns that it's consistent. I would say it's not as rampant as it has been. It's probably more on a consistent basis. And so we just, trying to feel some things out right now, see where the markets are going to go. There's a lot of things that are kind of, I hate using the phrase uncertainty, but I mean, I feel like everyone says there's uncertainty out there right now. I feel like we've been saying that for like the last like 16 years. So
since like 2008.
yeah, it's like, okay, let's try to figure this out. But no, so I feel like there might be a little bit of a slowdown in the new construction. So it's a lot of resales. So we don't really necessarily have a lot of flips on the shore.
Okay.
And the reason, normally what you'll have is a family will come in, they might own for 4 or 5 years. They'll rent for that timeline too. And this is just one segment of the buyers in our market. But then all of a sudden, like, they build their memories, right? The kids, all of a sudden, they go from 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. Now, all of a sudden, they're 13, 14, 15 years old. Well, now they're sports.
Yeah.
And they're not getting here. And if they have more than one child and there's all of a sudden three, let's say there's 2 to 4 kids. Now, all of a sudden, there's anywhere from 2 to 8 sports going on.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, they can't get here. And they're not using the property. They don't want to rent, or they try that, and that's a headache. And they're like, yeah, no thanks. So then they're not doing that. Now they're not doing any of the property, so they decide to sell because it's just not necessarily going to last for them, or it's run its course.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that kind of a segment that you'll see. Those people tend to try to come back a little bit later, but at that point they're a different buyer. The kids might be in their 20s, might be a different town,
Yeah.
all of that dynamic, right? So I think when you start looking around to see what is what are the resales like, and when you see a lot of these towns, we kind of make the reference of like they'll buy in the like in Seattle, like you buy in the 200 block, then you move up to 100 block, and then you move to the beach, right?
Oh, I see.
In Ocean City, it's like, okay, well, I bought back here, I bought on Haven, and now I'm moving up to Asbury, now I'm moving up to the beach, right? So people kind of move up. So that's where a lot of the resales are. Or you're in one section of town and you're like, I really want to go to the south end, so you move to the south end of the island versus being in the northern section, where in a lot of the towns, the northern sections tend to be a little bit more of the, like Ocean City and Seattle, the northern sections are more of their active areas. It's more where the restaurants are, it's more where the activities are, more the rental population, if you will, are there. So sometimes you start there and you're like, okay, we've gotten a little bit older. I don't really need to be in the hubbub. I want to move down to the southern portion of the island where it's a little bit quieter. So that's where a lot of the resales come from.
So you see that a lot. People
Yeah.
staying within the same town, just kind of almost house hopping.
Yes.
Because I feel like that's kind of a unique situation that at least I've, like, in my hometown in Tennessee, I can't imagine someone just buying a house the street over, going through the whole headache and process of putting the house on a market and finding a seller and doing the whole thing and just to move over a street.
Well, it depends on what your needs are, right? So if you got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and all of a sudden your family's grown, now you need a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, you're going to move one street over because you need that other bedroom.
That's fair. Well, so is there any level of like you buy a house, what you call it, the 200 block?
Yeah.
And is it because that's a little bit cheaper? You can live in there for a while, sell it, hopefully make some money once it's appreciated, and then now you can afford to move over a block. Is
Yep.
that the situation?
Yep.
Okay, so you just kind of got to play your cards until you can afford that beachfront property.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do, yeah.
Yeah.
You use them as like a stepping stone, right? And depending on, like, we even have like some of the smaller condos. So if you're a first-time investor, an early investor, you might use that to get into like a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo in one of the bigger complexes, because you're trying to get in the game. You're trying to figure out, like, do I want to do this? Do I really want a rental property? Do I want a summer home? Yeah. And it's not breaking the bank where you're like, I just put myself in a bind here. Like I can probably move it pretty quick because there's probably more buyers in that price point anyway, if you had to. But you kind of get a feel for it. Oh, I like this. Okay, let's sell the 1-bedroom. Let's get myself into a 3-bedroom unit, and we'll start moving up from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like that would be a kind of unique, maybe not unique to just Jersey Shore, but maybe just beach living in general.
Yeah, I would say it's probably beach living in general.
Yeah.
Yep.
I find that very intriguing because I don't think that probably happens all that often. And the suburbs of Kansas.
No, no, and probably not too many suburbs, right? You just moving from house to house because
Yeah.
you just decided you wanted a different look,
Yeah.
a different end of the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
No, I mean,